We haven't seen Cleve Farrell and Keyshawn Nixon at practice today. Is there any update on their status?
Not really. Cleve is day-to-day. He has a chance to play in a game Sunday. We're not quite sure. Keyshawn is being evaluated for a leg injury. I'll be able to update him after I get back from this trip.
John, could you talk about Jimmy Morrissey, please, and just what you've seen from him on camp?
Jimmy Morrissey is like a coach on the field. He's everything that was advertised at Pitt. He obviously, came from nowhere as a walk-on to start every single game. He's a gym rat. He loves it. He can make all our calls. He's got good athleticism. Really pleased with his progress. He's put himself in contention to make our team.
John, have you made a decision on Marcus Mariota, and is it kind of past that point of having to play him? Or?
I want to play him in the preseason. Until I get the there's a conversation we have together and with the trainer before every game. I don't want to play him if he's not 100%. His style of play doesn't really allow that, at least in the preseason. I don't want him cutting it loose. So he's questionable for the game. He's going to be available on an emergency basis. But right now, Peterman will start and Peterman will finish until I get better information.
Where are you guys with the swing tackle position?
Well, we think we've got as good a swing tackle as we've had since I've been here. Brandon Parker, he did it last year. He started at left tackle. Against the Chargers, a very good team. Started at right tackle against Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. So, we think we've got a really good swing tackle that's now in his fourth year that has a lot of experience.
John, I know it's not Oakland, but you all are making your first, return to the Bay for the first time since relocating here to Las Vegas. Is there any sort of, emotion from the team standpoint of making that kind of return trip?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a parade or anything like that, but we all have great memories there, no doubt. Just looking forward, honestly, to seeing these young guys compete. We're going to play a lot of our young players and finish this evaluation process and hopefully come out healthy and try to find a way to win the game in the process. That's what we've been up to.
Coach, big picture question for you personally. As results-oriented as you are and competitive in year 4, how much pressure and urgency are you placing on yourself to turn the corner for this franchise?
Pressure, man, that's on everybody. You got pressure on you if you want to talk about the pressure you're going through. We all have it. But I try to apply pressure, not feel it. We're going to always do the best we can. I'm really proud of the effort that we're putting forth, and I feel good about myself at the end of the day because of that.
John, can you reflect back when camp started, maybe of a concern and something you're very pleasantly surprised with that maybe you were worried about at first, but now you're pretty comfortable with?
Well, I was worried about our schedule. I was worried about getting my ass kicked by somebody for practicing at 7:30 a.m. every day. I mean, I really was worried about that. It's kind of, not to swear, but it's unprecedented to practice and meet and do the things that we've done under this, time frame. But we obviously made changes on our offensive line for a number of reasons. But we have a lot to prove there. We feel like Leatherwood has been out every single day. And our young center has been out there every single day. Nick Martin's been out there every single day. So we have gotten better. We got a chance to look at them. Ruggs and Edwards have had no injuries. We got a chance to look at them. They're young players. Damon Arnett has had a way better training camp. And, Trayvon Merring, John Abram, these guys haven't missed time. So we've had a chance to develop players. And that's all the coaches can do. We can draft and we can trade and we can sign guys, but at the end of the day, coaches are here to develop players, and I'm really excited about the job our staff has done. I've seen some of these young guys really get better, and even Nate Peterman has taken advantage of these chances and gotten better as well.
Is there any update on Jalen Richard about, closing in, coming back, the season opener?
I mean, I wish I could just tell you everything I know about the medical, but I don't have to yet. So I won't. But I just think that's part of the game in every camp right now. But he's got a foot problem. He's going to be out for a little while longer. And the only thing that happened on that front in a positive light is we've got a chance to look at Regis and Emmons, two guys that we didn't know much about. So we're hoping he's coming back for the season. But right now there's a question for that.
John, it's not official yet, hasn't been announced anyway by you guys, but if and when it happens, what does Denzel Perriman add to your linebacking corps?
Well, number one, he's a good player. He has some good plays out there as a middle linebacker in this defense with this staff against us. So it'd be nice to get a couple of these guys that know our stuff that can play. He's also an alpha, A-L-P-H-A. I like those guys. He's a fiery alpha presence, and I think we need that on our defense, especially in the middle of our defense. And with Nick Morrow, Kwiatkowski, Javin White hurt, we need help. And to get a guy that can help us of this stature could be a real positive thing for us. But we have a lot to prove there, too. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to come in here and put the silver and black on and play his best football for us.
Coach, I know he carries a very high profile, but Jared McCoy, is he someone you want to see get any snaps, or you just want him to be healthy for the season?
I'm most excited to see him than anybody right now. This guy, I grew up, I coached in Tampa, lived in Tampa, followed Tampa for a long time. And this guy took over the torch for Warren Sapp. And it's a hard thing to do. He went down there in Tampa and went to 4 or 5 straight Pro Bowls. This is one hell of a player. And he's a great guy. And he's been a great teacher, a great presence in our D-line room, our defensive meeting rooms. And yesterday we cut him loose the last 2 days in pads, and he's starting to really resemble McCoy. And I told him if he plays like he practiced, he'll get another number. He won't have to wear that number 61.
With the cutdown day looming, how many more difficult, hard decisions do you have?
It's hard. It's good. It's a fun thing to say, but every team is saying that right now. You can only keep 53. Problem I have is I get attached to these guys. I just love being around the players. Trey Regis and B.J. Emmons and Garrett Rochek. These guys we've had a lot of fun with DJ Turner and some of these guys. And when the general manager says you can't keep them all, you can only keep 6, or you can only keep 5, or you can only keep 4. There'll be some arguments for sure. And I'm really proud of our players and coaches for putting us in this situation.
You guys all set? Okay, thank you.
You have one? Did you have one? Okay, guys, have a good one.
Okay, guys.
Hey, Amik, it's Tashawn Reid from The Athletic. I know you played outside in college mostly, and last year they transitioned you to nickel, and it seems like throughout training camp and then last week against the Rams they allowed you to play outside as well. How did that conversation go to kind of get you back outside, and how comfortable do you feel being back in that position?
I think mostly, the coaching staff just trying to put me, make myself more valuable. Helping me learn inside and outside. Because in college, I played mostly outside, and the film kind of sticks out. So I guess the coaching staff not only just want me to play nickel, but to also learn corner, just to, also make myself, valuable, and, that's why I'm also comfortable at.
Amik, last year you didn't get OTAs, you didn't get mini camps, no preseason games. Because of that this year, how much better are you right now than even where you ended the season?
I think I took a huge jump from last year to this year. I was kind of down on myself at first, but then I thought about it like, just think about it in a positive way. I just sit back and really learn from a lot of guys like Jonah, guys like Nevin Lawson, and just sit back and just learn from those guys not having OTAs in preseason. It was really tough. But I would say I took a huge jump from last year to this year. But I'm still learning. I'm still getting better each and every day. But I would say I took a huge jump.
Amik, how much has Coach Ron Miles really guided you through the process?
Miles is a great coach, man. I honestly, he kind of remind me. I told him he kind of remind me of the coach that coached me when I was at Louisiana Tech, Coach Burris. I think the difference between those two is Coach Burris was on the details, but Milo is like really on the details. He's a guy that always makes sure you going to do your job, and it's all about trust with him. So if you know what you're doing, he say he's going to put you out there.
You said you were down on yourself, but what specifically were you disappointed about, and how long did it take until you kind of snapped out of it and started looking forward? I
just feel like I was down on myself because the Raiders drafted me to make a impact immediately. That's what I thought about, and that's how it was for high school, college. When I was in college, I thought, okay, they got me here just to, for me to make a immediate impact, and when I came here, that's what I thought, I have to make a immediate impact like now, and when I took that step back, I kind of was down on myself, but, I even had a conversation with Gruden, he said that, you can't rush greatness, it's a process, you're going to have some adversity, and I would say I finally realized it probably during the middle of the season, I understood my old role, and from that moment, I didn't look at it in a negative way. I looked at everything as a positive way, like, how can I use this to get better?
Team had some competition at nickel specifically, drafting Nate Hobbs and then going out and signing some veterans like Casey Hayward. How did you kind of view that, competition and approach that coming into training?
I kind of liked it. Me and Nate Hobbs have a great relationship. Me and him even talked about it like we, two of the youngest guys. So, when me and him even talked about it, like, I say each and every day I'm gonna compete, learn from you. I know you're a competitive guy. He said he's gonna also, learn from me as well. So he's having an incredible camp. And I mean he had an incredible camp. And guys like Casey Hayward, he's been in the league for a long time. So guys like that, you kind of want to pick their brain a little bit, just to know, different formations and stuff that he learned when he was young, to stuff that he know now. So having guys like that, man, it's a very competitive room. That's what you want, man. That's what you want in the game.
You talked about learning both inside and outside, kind of going back and forth a little bit. How different are they? And how difficult is it to kind of go back and forth from one to the other?
I would say the difference between playing nickel and corner, nickel, you like another linebacker. You got to know, your run gaps. You got to know, when to run, you kind of like a quarterback on the defense because you got to know, communicate with everybody, jets, motions. You got to, like I said before, you got to know your gaps. Cornerback, you don't really have to know too much. You only have a certain amount of calls you have to make. Even though corner's easy, I kind of like, I enjoy playing nickel. It's just a process. That's all it is.
Amik, famously, cornerbacks have to have a short memory, right? If something happens on the field, you got to flip the page right away. And when you talk about feeling that you didn't really do what you needed to do last year, does the entire rookie class of last year that you were part of, do you guys all have something to prove? And if so, what is that?
Definitely. I think when we had the meeting last year, I think the end of the season, the exit meeting, all the first year guys, me, Ruggs, Brian, Arnett, and a lot of other, Simpson, guys like that. When Gruden, when we had that meeting, Gruden told us that we have to take a big jump. The second year guys have to take a big jump, but we have to help the team win. And all of us took that we kind of took that personal because we didn't have a season that we wanted to have. So coming into now, we just trying to do whatever we got to do. Of course we're going to have some knickknacks and some adversity, but we just try to, get better each and every day, man, help the team, reach our goals.
You talked about struggling to adapt on the field last year a little bit. How difficult is that it's not only on the field, like you're living in a new place, you're trying to adjust to living in a new place, but during a pandemic too. So how was it like off the field for you when you're trying to struggle on the field and learn to live here?
For me, honestly, I think off the field stuff, that's like, I don't really have too many off the field issues. I was a guy that never really got in trouble or whatever, but moving to Vegas, I think the only thing I had to adjust to was the atmosphere, man. I'm talking about coming from Louisiana. I used to love working out, outside, but it's like, man, down here, the atmosphere, the way you breathe it was totally different, man. That's probably the only thing that I had to adjust to. The pandemic, that comes with, you gotta, follow protocol and just listen to the coaches and follow their rules as far as the protocols. But other than that, I didn't really have any off the field issues.
Gruden said he was afraid he was going to get in trouble for making you guys practice at 7:30. Do you appreciate it now?
Definitely. I definitely appreciate it. I think Gruden doing great, man. He's handled, he's treating his organization great, as far as letting us practice. Well, really overall, but letting us practice in the morning, man, that's a blessing. Because once that sun come out, I'm talking about we are fried. Like, it's frying out there. So we I ain't gonna lie, we really appreciate. And on top of that, he's a guy that, let us go out early. And then when before the sun really get too severe, he let us go inside and we practice inside. With Gruden, man, it's all about winning, man. It's all about the details, and he loves his players.
I know where you grew up isn't necessarily, right next to New Orleans, but they're getting ready for another big storm, and I know anytime that's happening, it's awful for people there. So are you thinking about people back home? You have people that you're worried about?
I mean, definitely any tragedy, you always want to, you always kind of, think about back at home. But, as long as my mom and them and my family, they're not in harm's way. I can focus more. I talked to my mom last night about it. She got her generator, her bags or whatever. So I think they'll be okay. So as of now, she just want me to focus on the game and, so I can be clear minded and be able to go out there and showcase and be at my best.
You guys all set? Okay, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Amik.
I have to